Hello everyone, welcome back to Simplify Cancer. This is Dr. Raghuvanshi and I am here to simplify your understanding about cancer. In the second part on stomach cancer, I discuss the investigations, treatment and follow-up plus prevention on stomach cancer. As discussed last time, if anyone has dyspeptic symptoms for a period of more than 1 month, they need to be investigated. The first and most common investigation done is an upper GI endoscopy. Here, a tube is inserted through the mouth. It is passed down into the stomach to look for any changes. In the endoscopy, if they find an ulcer, a biopsy is done from it and sent for pathology. Further investigation is usually a contrast-enhanced CT scan of the abdomen. In this, we know the exact extent of the tumor, the size of the tumor and where it has spread. Also, whether there is involvement of the surrounding lymph nodes. By this, a clinical stage of the cancer is determined. Nowadays, a PET CT is also advised to know the extent of the disease and also if it has spread to any other parts in the body. Based on this, the staging is done. Stage 1 cancer is usually tumor that is confined to the stomach. Stage 2 is the disease where the tumor has come partially out of the stomach to the surrounding lymph nodes. Stage 3 is where the disease has come out of the stomach and may involve the surrounding organs in addition to involvement of the lymph nodes. Stage 4 is where the disease has spread beyond the stomach to any part of the abdomen. It may be a liver or the peritoneum, or sometimes even lung metastasis. Like for any other solid organ in the body, surgery remains the mainstay of treatment. When we identify a stage 1 or a stage 2 cancer on imaging, we can go ahead with surgery directly. For a stage 3 cancer, where the disease may or may not be operable, usually what is known as a neoadjuvant chemotherapy. That is, chemotherapy, usually 3 to 4 cycles, is given before surgery. If the patient responds to it and the tumor size has reduced, we go ahead with surgery, following which further chemotherapy is planned. The most common types of surgery done for stomach cancer are removal of the stomach, either partial or total, what is known as a radical distal gastrectomy or a radical total gastrectomy. Along with that, the lymph nodes surrounding the stomach, around it and away from it, are removed. If the lower half of the stomach is removed, the remaining stomach is attached to the small intestine for continuity. If the whole stomach is removed, the esophagus or the food pipe is connected to the small intestine. Depending on the post-operative pathology report, the final staging of the disease is known. For stage 1 disease, no further treatment is required. For stage 2 disease, usually a complete adjuvant chemotherapy, 6 to 8 cycles of chemotherapy, and rarely radiation may also be given. For stage 3 disease, who have received some form of chemotherapy upfront, completion of chemotherapy is done after surgery and radiation is added. For stage 4 stomach cancers, chemotherapy remains the main treatment option, and for palliation, surgery may be required either for bypassing in the event of vomiting or resection of the part of the tumor for bleeding tumors. You may all be wondering that how come we remove the stomach and still the patient is able to survive. Luckily for us, with the advanced techniques today and the wonderful medications available, we are able to do all these major surgeries with minimal morbidity to the patient, and patients are able to do well and get cured of the disease too. Even though the stomach, which is the reservoir for food, had to be removed, the small intestine is kept in its place and patient can lead a normal life. The post-operative complications with this surgery are usually very minimal. Patient usually takes a couple of weeks to 1 month to get used to the new system which is made. In the follow-up after completion of treatment, patient is examined every 3 months for a period of 2 years and 6 monthly later on for another 3 years. Upper GI endoscopy is advised as and when needed. CT scan is done initially for every 6 months for 2 years, followed by yearly CT scan for another 3 years. Coming to the prevention of stomach cancer. As we discussed before, the primary risk factor for stomach cancer has been identified to be dietary factors, especially the consumption of processed meat, dried fish, any red meat, spicy food. Avoiding these food, or at least having them in moderation, will definitely help in reducing the risk of stomach cancer. Along with that, having a healthy lifestyle, doing some form of exercise, avoiding smoking and alcohol will definitely help. These are some factors which we can control. The other factors include genetic, especially what is commonly known as hereditary diffuse gastric cancer. If a patient has a stomach cancer and if it runs in the family, they need to be tested for this specific gene known as CDH1, and if it is found, their family members are also tested for the same. They can undergo a prophylactic gastrectomy or removal of stomach before the development of cancer. As the gene is positive, they will definitely develop the cancer. If not, they can be kept under surveillance with endoscopy, what is known as screening, usually done yearly once. This concludes our session on stomach cancer. I hope you have improved your understanding about it, and be aware of any dyspeptic symptoms and do not neglect them. See you next week with a new topic. Take care. For any further queries, you can contact me on this number or directly consult me via video with the following link.